Ready. Okay, I think we have everyone.
Nice crowd.
Yeah, this is a great crowd. Can everyone hear us? If you wouldn't mind, you don't have to unmute, just shake your head or chat. Great.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we will try to keep people muted until there's questions or if people want to jump in and share stories to reduce background noise and feedback. So we'll do a round of official introductions, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Esther Kite, the Interim Managing Director of the Center for Positive Organizations. I also am sort of the org partner, mostly consortium coordinator for the Magnify course. So on this call, we'll learn a lot more about Magnify, and hopefully the goal of the call is to make sure that we have all of your questions answered about what's coming next. Before we get into the meat of the call, I want to note who we have as our org partners for this year, the 2020 Magnify class. And just call out who is new and who has done Magnify before, so you know who to go to for all your questions about what Magnify is all about, how to make it a great student experience, as we have some real kind of veterans, Magnify veterans on the call as well. So first we have EDSI. Casey White and Kevin Schneiders from EDSI are the hosts from EDSI. We have Vocational Village. Melinda Brayman, Lee McRoberts are the hosts from Vocational Village, which is based in Jackson. It's part of the Michigan prison system. We have Image One, and Emmy Georgeson is the representative from Image One. So those three organizations are your Magnify veterans. They have been doing it for multiple years, and they have just been our rockstar partners. So for the next set of organizations, which are new this year, if you have questions on setting up the student experience or anything, the EDSI, Vocational Village, and Image One representatives would be great people to go to ask your questions. So new this year, we have One Magnify. So Kristen Costanza is on from One Magnify. We have U of M Radiology, the U of M Radiology Department. Kim Garver is on from Radiology. We have Pop House, so Jennifer Janice and Maria Sayars, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Maria, are on from Pop House. We have our U of M Central Development Office, so our development department for all of U of M, all campuses and the health systems. So Betsy Jackman, Leah Washoff, Pamela Stout are on from U of M Central Development, or what we call OUD. And we also have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. So Nick Cadell is on from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. We'll have, in a minute, we'll allow you to introduce yourselves a little bit further, but first I just want to give you our roadmap for the call today. So we will do a little bit of introductions, meet each other. We'll learn about the Magnify program structure, so what the Magnify program looks like from kind of a schedule and structure perspective. We will review important dates and deliverables for our org partners, so you know exactly within the overall structure for the class what your role is as a Magnify organizational partner. And then we'll share a little bit of what our best practice is for making sure that this is a good experience on both the organizational partner side and the student side. And then we'll have a little time at the end for questions and discussions. So as I said, we want to make sure by the end of this call that you understand, what's important, what your role is, and have all of your questions answered on what comes next, including having a little bit more of an overview on the overall structure for Magnify and what the students will experience, and kind of a little more of the profile of the Magnify student. So we do want to go around and do some introductions. If you're having trouble with unmuting your phone, we can help with that. But we want to kick off to have people introduce themselves with name, organization, role, and a brief hope for Magnify 2020. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Betsy to do the kind of the modeling for this particular part.
Maybe we can go around with the staff and faculty first to give those of you who are just getting this assignment about thinking about a hope for Magnify a minute to put some thought to that. But first, I'd like to welcome all of you here today and thank you very much for the time that you're spending with us both today, learning more about Magnify and the commitment you've made to our students. I'm Betsy Irwin, and I am a co-instructor for the Magnify program. Monica and I designed this program along with Jane Dutton and other members of the team. This will be our 6th year that we're delivering Magnify. And we spend a lot of time during the academic year trying to create an experience that's really terrific for the students, as well as identifying partner organizations that will give the students the best learning experience. So my hope for Magnify 2020 is to build on what we've already been doing the first 5 years. I think we started strong and have just gotten stronger every year, and to expand both our students' view of what's possible and the view of our organizational members about what is possible in terms of bringing positive practices both to the classroom, reimagining what school looks like, and reimagining what work looks like. Do you want to go next, Stacey?
Yeah, I will go next. Hi, folks. I'm Stacey Sameka. I am our program manager here. I get to, overall at the Center for Positive Organizations, bring transformative learning experiences to them. And Magnify, I get to build our community of students and coach our peer coaches, so alums that have come back to continue to contribute to the Magnify community. One of my hopes for this year is similar to Betsy, surprise, surprise, and I want to transform their expectations for what learning can look like, and what being a part of the community can look like, and really make this community feel like home for them.
Hi everyone, my name is Hitomi Katsumi. I'm the newest on the team, I guess. I'm corporate relations and communications specialist, and I help manage the consortium with Esther. So through this Magnify program, I'm kind of like in the observing role with Esther as a consortium coordinator. Many of you I got to see already, but for those of you I have yet to get in touch with, nice to meet you here. For my hope for Magnify 2020, through this co-learning experience, I really want students to feel what it's like to be in a thriving organization inside. That's something that you can only get through the experience of being in there. So by partnering with you, I hope that they get that feeling out of it too, and carry that through their lives too. And then also my hope is that the org partner also get to tap into their amazing wisdom that they have too. So kind of amazing wisdom and insights that they have. I really hope that there's a lot of cross sharing and exchanges happening there.
What's your hope, Esther?
You already know me. My hope is that through the Magnify program and the partner organizations, CPO's knowledge and research of how to build thriving organizations just continues to spread, and that the students are so inspired that they go and build these thriving organizations when they leave, that we enable the partners to be more thriving in their organization. And we really just add to the movement to make workplaces thriving for both the people that are in them and the organization itself.
One of the core members of Magnify, the Magnify leadership team, who isn't in the room, is Monica Warline. She's calling in from Palo Alto. So hey there, Monica, what is your hope for the program?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Since I'm sitting here in Palo Alto, I have one very pragmatic hope for Magnify 2020, which is that the course actually gets to meet in person. I know we'll talk a bit more about our response to the current situation in the country and the virus, but I'm also on the faculty at Stanford here, and we're on work from home restrictions, and no classes are meeting in person here. So a very pragmatic hope is that I get to see everyone's faces, not just over this computer. But also, I think it gives us a great opportunity to actually talk about resilience and adaptability with Magnify, no matter what happens, whether we're meeting in person or not. We know that we will be in the midst of a situation that's going to require a lot of agility and a lot of resilience, and we don't know what the students and all of our partners will be bringing to the table by the time May comes around. So I'm really starting to think a lot about how we can build the topic of resilience and adaptability more into what we do in the program.
Go around and hear just briefly from each of you your name and a hope that you have for being involved in the program.
So actually, maybe we should
You
call
might have to guide Betsy because we don't know what order they appear on your screen.
start with organizations.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So just in order, should we want to call out?
Yeah, how about Melinda? Would you be able to tell us your hope for the program?
Hi, this is Melinda Brayman. We're the Parnell Correctional Facility Vocational Village, and we're the MDOC, Michigan Department of Corrections. And this is our third year being involved with the Magnify program. And we've gotten a lot of insight into the program, as well as our students here and our staff have gotten a lot of great ideas and great feedback just from the experiences that we've had. So I think it's been, you know, my hope is that we continue that growth because each time we have a different class come in, we learn something new, we get different perspectives. And, you know, one of the things that this program is trying to encourage, and I think this is kind of the drive that we're going for this year, is acceptance of the returning citizens into the community, as well as inclusion, being a part of, you know, the active workforce and the community as a whole. So that's kind of our, you know, what we're looking at getting ideas on. I also have Lee McRoberts here. He's the deputy warden. I'll let him talk a little bit too.
Hi there, everybody. It's nice to be part of the program again. Last year, I was actually off-site on a temporary assignment in another location, so I didn't get a chance to participate and see everybody, but it's nice to get back in the fold again. Hopes, I hope the students who participate, get a good experience like they did in the years past. It'd be nice to engage with them and talk with them about what we do and how we do it. It's just nice to be back in the fold again. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Casey, we'll hear a little bit more from you later, but would you mind coming on and talking about your hopes for the program?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So Casey White with EDSI. We were debating in the room. If you see me awkwardly looking to my left and my right, I'm going to change the camera. I have Katie and Kevin who have joined me as well. But I think this might be our fourth year with the program now, actually. So we're thrilled, have just gained so much insight, have seen the program grow, have had interns who were past Magnify students years later, have just really enjoyed being a part of the community. And I just wrote down that I'm most excited just to provide a real life experience for students to be in a high functioning and what I'm really proud of our work environment. So a high functioning and positive work environment, and for them to be able to see that and understand all the different options of work that they have in organizations that are out there. So I'm going to switch this over to my colleague, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, my name's Katie. I am part of our talent team here and will be helping with the coordination with the Magnify students. So really excited about that and just looking forward to making connections. And every year I feel like we learn something new. So just super excited to see what the students have for this year.
And then one more, if you don't get seasick, motion sickness, here you go.
If my head wasn't so giant, I could be on the screen with Casey at the same time. So it's good to see everyone, good to see old friends, and it is great to be back. It's just exciting for us. There's so much energy that comes from the Magnify program. I get excited to see how my colleagues interact with the students, and we open up access to all of our 54 locations and anyone that they want to talk to. So it's exciting to see all of that energy and activity, and can't wait to get started again. So it's a pleasure to be associated with Magnify.
Thanks. So one of our new partner organizations, Kristen, we can unmute you. Would you mind telling your role and your hopes for the program? Is Kristen Costanza still on?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think I muted myself on my phone when I went to unmute myself. Sorry, technical difficulties. My name is Kristen Costanza. I'm the Director of Talent at One Magnify. What I am most excited about, this is our first year in the program, but we have been consortium members for quite some time. So we've always enjoyed our interaction with the students at consortium meetings and at the conference, but I'm looking forward to having them come in to, our house and see what we can learn from them and hopefully help them along their journey as well.
Thank you. So next, let's go to the OUD team. So Betsy, Pamela, Natalie, would you mind coming on next?
Good morning. Yes, so I'm Betsy Jackman, and I work on the talent management team for the Office of Development, and we work with the whole fundraising community here at the University of Michigan. And my colleagues, Natalie, who will introduce herself in a moment, and Leah Warshaw, we're kind of unofficially in charge of culture for all of development at Michigan. And our leader, our new vice president this past year, is a huge advocate of positive organizational psychology scholarship. And so I know I'm most interested. We don't know yet, but I think it's about the exposure to the POS principles and the students, and hopefully we can actually inspire each other. So go ahead, Natalie.
I'm Natalie Wallace. I work on the talent management team as well. And to kind of echo what Betsy said, I am most excited to be able to work with the students and learn with them and, provide an opportunity for them to learn in an environment. And I think, it's exciting for us, that it might be exciting for them as well, that we're kind of at our baseline of what we're establishing for where we want to move forward. So having them to be able to have that opportunity from the beginning with us is really exciting. And then
chime in. It's been a different room. So for me, I just, I know what high caliber work students are capable of doing, and I'm just so excited to be on the receiving end of that, where we probably couldn't, necessarily budget for a high-powered POS, consulting firm, and now we get to do that through the form of these students. I just cannot wait to see what their contribution to our organization is going to be. And Pam, are you on? I don't know if you want to add. All right, I'm not sure if Pam Stout is there, but she's on our communications team here at OUD, so she might be listening as well.
Okay. Sounds like maybe she jumped off. So let's thank you, OUD team. Let's go next to Kim Garver at radiology.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Esther. I'm really excited to do this Magnify team at the Brighton Center for Specialty Care. I had exposure to the Magnify team when I was a radiologist at Huron Valley Radiology about 2 years ago, and it was just a great experience. I thought the young students were so good and so enthusiastic that I wanted to repeat that experience over here. Our ACU leaders at Michigan Medicine are really excited about being the first ones to do this in Michigan Medicine. And it's going to be a split venture between our ACU leaders in Brighton, as well as our radiology department leaders. And we hope to learn a lot. We've been working with POS through the consortium for about a year now, and we're actively involving Amy Young in some of our projects to develop culture and measure impact. So this will be a nice part of that.
Thanks, Kim. All All right, so let's go next to another new partner, Maria from Pop House.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Well, I am at a disadvantage. I'm very new here at Pop House, and I am stepping in for Jennifer because she was able to attend today and did not want to miss this. So I'm not really sure what we're bringing or what Pop House's role is in this, but I am very interested and eager to find out, and definitely excited to be a part of it.
So Maria, I did note that you had just joined the team, so thank you for pinch hitting for this call. I can give a little bit of context for Pop House.
Okay.
The consortium director, Amy Young, and I did some more sustained work with Pop House over the summer where we talked about the culture initiatives that Jennifer is hoping to move forward. And so we thought that taking a Magnify team would be a great, not only sort of booster shot, but also a reminder of some of that work. Since a lot of the folks at Pop House did have some exposure to either coming to consortium meetings or to talking more to Amy and I about what positive culture means and looks like. I'm also excited that One Magnify and Pop House are a couple blocks from each other, and so maybe the students can get together at Campus Marshes for lunch. So that's exciting to us too. But thanks again, Maria, for
Sure.
today.
No problem.
All right, great. Let's go to our Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan team. We're so excited that you were able to make a call. So Nick and Michelle, if you wouldn't mind.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Nick Cadle with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. As you can imagine, we're kind of in the middle of looking at a whole lot of things going on in the healthcare environment right now. So this is a welcome reprieve from coronaviruses and all sorts of other things. We're really excited to be participating and collaborating with the University of Michigan and the Magnify program. About a year ago, we got a new divisional leader in our division, which is healthcare value. So healthcare value is really the part of Blue Cross Blue Shield that makes healthcare more affordable. And we've got a lot of passionate and really committed teams that come to work every single day with that goal in mind and really just impacting member health and the member experience. And our new divisional leader is a huge proponent of positive organizational science and connected us with the University of Michigan. I think we've had some other collaboration with U of M, and we're really excited to be taking this next step in our internal organizational transformation. We've been doing a lot of work through Simon Sinek related materials and things like that as a division. We've got about 1,000 employees. And Michelle Savaji is a director of our utilization management programs, and the Magnify program will be collaborating with her and her team. And I'll put her on the spot to see if she has any team-specific comments she wants to make.
Thanks, Nick. I'm just listening to everybody share their experiences from the past, and I'm looking very forward to having the team come in and work with my team. As Nick alluded to with healthcare, there's a lot of change going on, and the landscape changes pretty quickly and on the dime. So again, it's very important in my area because we do deal with a lot of the providers and the members that we have to be able to adapt and change quickly and meet the needs that are out there for both our members and our providers. So I'm very excited to partner and see. I think I have a really good team, but like I tell my team, there's always opportunities out there. There's always things that we can change and make things better. And sometimes it's nice to have somebody from the outside come in to bring a different perspective. So I'm really looking forward to partnering with everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Is there anyone that I missed? It looks like there's a phone number. I can't tell who it is, so I want to make sure that everyone got a chance to talk. All right, great. So Betsy, you want to introduce the next section?
Well, I just wanted to just very briefly say that up until this point, your primary contact has been Esther, but with this meeting today, there's going to be a shift in the way that we engage with all of you. As I mentioned, I'm one of the co-instructors, as well as Monica Warline, who will be speaking after Stacy has a chance to tell you a little bit more about our students. But up until this point, because of Esther's role as the managing director of the center and her role as the leader of our consortium effort, both Esther with Hitomi at her right hand have been working most closely with you. But now today marks a shift where it will be me, it'll be Stacy Semeka, and Monica Warline. We'll be serving as your primary points of contact, and we'll each describe the role that we'll play. Monica and I take the lead in helping to facilitate both the in-class experience as well as making sure that they have a robust time when they're the organizational partner in terms of the mix of activities you'll be exposing them to. And Stacy Semeka, our colleague, manages the students' experience in the classroom as well as the logistics associated with getting them on site. And getting them to your organization and making sure they have what they need in order to be as effective as possible in the organization. I would like to turn it over to Stacy to give her a chance to tell you just briefly a little bit about the types of students, the diversity of students that you'll be seeing this spring when they come to campus, or when they come to your organization.
Yeah, hi folks. So this is Stacy Semeka talking again. Like Betsy mentioned, I just want to share a brief piece of insight about who are the folks that will end up on the teams at your organizations. And so we see most frequently students joining us after their first or second year, so after their freshman or their sophomore year, but we also end up with students after their junior year and sometimes the very last class they take at University of Michigan. We also have folks most frequently joining us that are studying business, but I would say the next most popular groups of students come from organizational studies programs or psychology. But that doesn't stop people from the School of Art and Design, from the School of Architecture, from students studying public health, all finding their way to us with a shared interest in knowing more about bringing out the best in organizations and the people inside of them. We think that we're picking out very special students, and you'll find that they are. We look for a couple different strengths, and I even heard it in Maria's response earlier, this comfort with ambiguity. So Maria, we would pick you to be a student for your strength, jumping right in, because our students get to experience a lot of that. But so you'll find them to be really creative, really curious, and representing all different corners of the University of Michigan, and we design our community to look like that. So if you ever have any questions about the kind of folks that are joining our community as students, please let me know. And a lot of them find their way to us because alums tell all of their friends that this is a life-changing experience. And so we feel really lucky that even after they graduate from the program, they keep coming back for more. And so next up,
I think Monica is going to take the lead here.
Yes, well, I get to, as instructor's privilege, I get to give you your homework. So showing on the screen here are some very important dates that we want you to keep in mind. And we will also share a written student organization partner guide with you and a Google Drive with other files, so you can refer back to these written materials. But I just want to touch on them briefly now. So you will get to meet your team very shortly after the team is formed. Our first day of class is May the 5th, and we will get to know the students a little bit and ask them to rank some of their interests, and we'll learn about some of their strengths. And As we do that, we will form them into teams that will be focused for you. And on May the 14th, over the lunch break at the Positive Business Conference, we will host a luncheon. So if you're attending the conference, you can just come over to the luncheon from the conference itself. If you're not attending the conference, we ask that you, the host and whoever else from your organization wants to attend, be able to come to campus that day around lunch hour, and we will know the exact time once the conference schedule is finalized. You'll get to have a chance to meet your teammates, talk with the students, share a little bit about your organization, and that will be our kickoff for them to begin learning about your organization. So they do lots of research behind the scenes and prepare in a variety of ways before they come to your on-site week. And we've been showing you in the images on this slide deck that we're playing for you are all images of our students from past cohorts and the kinds of things that we do in the classroom. So we do a highly engaging series of activities. We do experiential workshops that focus on improvisation, thinking on your feet. We do lots of chances for students to practice their public speaking presentation skills, as well as deep dives into the science of positive organizational scholarship. And we do all kinds of things to ensure that they come to you for their placement week super ready to go. In fact, we define their roles for them as field researchers, and we ask them to come to your organization as field researchers to understand what they can learn by being in your organization for a short period of time. We equip them with a lot of methods from field research and a lot of ways that they can gather data to validate their observations. And we teach them a framework to use to interpret that data rapidly so that they can share back their findings with you in a meaningful way. So this sample schedule shows just a variety of things that students have done in the past that tend to help them with their job of field research and gathering data so that they can share insights with you. You, of course, can craft their schedule and their time with you in whatever way makes sense for your organization. And the way that you curate this schedule and organize the students' time during this placement week is actually crucial to the kinds of things that you will learn from what the students are doing with you. So we want you to give them a chance to see high points in the organization, low points in the organization. As Kevin mentioned earlier, the more people that they can talk to, the better. If you want them to visit multiple sites, that's great. They can have formal interviews with people, and they will be keen to have interviews to gain insight. They can also just observe staff who are working or shadow employees. They can attend staff meetings. We encourage, if possible, for them to attend your onboarding if you have one. If you have a weekly session where, like on a Monday morning, the students can attend that. Or if you don't have a formal one, that maybe you review your onboarding process with the students so they get a sense of how that works as they learn the lay of the land in your organization. And we've made one change this year, so for returning hosts like EDSI, this will feel odd, but we really think it will enhance the students' experience in a variety of ways. So in the past, we've asked the students to make their final presentation on the Friday of their placement week, but this cohort, we have enough time and we've rearranged our curriculum so that the students can spend Monday through Friday with you in your organization, learning, gathering data, checking their facts. And then the next Thursday, which would be June the 11th this year, the students would come back for the morning to share their findings, share a custom presentation and deliverables that they have made just for your organization, and lead a discussion with you about what they've learned. So that's one key date that follows the week of the placement week. And to share actually what happens as you curate this schedule and the magic that you can gain by curating your schedule in different ways, we've asked the EDSI team as our 4-year returning host veterans to share a few of their best practices and what they've learned about putting together different schedules for student teams in 4 different ways over 4 different years. So I'll turn this over to Casey to say a few words. And this was last year's EDSI team. And I just love our big smiles. You can tell they've had an amazing experience. So Casey.
Hear me?
Yes.
Now we can. There you are.
Great. Well, thank you. As I mentioned, gosh, what a wonderful group of smiling students we had last year. It was even more fun. I got to meet up a couple of weeks ago. I was at a different training, and one of our previous Magnify students was at that training as well as a young professional in her career now. And so it was great to make that connection and to reconnect and to hear some of her great thinkings and the things she had learned from Magnify. And she said, well, I'm having trouble implementing this, and you guys are probably fine at EDSI because you guys are like weird like that. No, it was like you could do this there, but I'm having trouble here. So it was fun to reconnect. So I look forward to that continuing community, and I know we do as an organization being a part of this every year. To try to be more brief, I put together 5 things, some of them schedule related, but 5 kind of quick tips, I think, that have helped us to be successful as hosts over the years. So the first thing that I found, and this was something that was introduced maybe 1 or 2 years into the program, that meet and greet is such a great opportunity to kick things off with your students. So if you are unable to attend, I've actually found the most success for our organization when we send certainly more than one person. So in our organization, Katie, who you saw earlier, and I'm smiling at now, Katie is really our hostess with the mostest. So Katie, that was my number 2 point, is that make sure that the students have somebody who they feel comfortable with and who is their go-to. If they have any questions about their schedule, if a technology thing isn't working, we do a lot of remote meetings, who can help them jump in there and make sure that meeting gets fired up, who can help them, provide them with all the little information that somebody coming into your home as a guest at a party might enjoy. So really make sure that you attend that meeting, number 1. Bring as many people to your organization, some familiar faces, so that when the students show up in that first week, they'll already know 2 or 3 people in your organization and feel comfortable, ready to get going. Have that host. I put feed your students really well. I think that they're college students and they want to be fed. So joking aside, many of our meetings take place over lunch. So each lunch, I think maybe there was one day that we gave them 5 recommendations of great restaurants in the area because we wanted to give them some breathing room. But we also wanted to make sure that they were fed. They got the calories that they needed and some snacks available for them. It really is a very immersive week for them. So if you talk to the students, and those of you, they are up in the morning, coming early to an early morning staff meeting for us on Monday. And sometimes, in the classroom, working on and kind of going back and creating organizing all of their field data until 9, 10, 11 at night, and then asking them to do that again. So feed was number 3, caffeinate was number 4. So also providing them with caffeine for college students. And then really, I think 2 last points. Number one was that giving them a little bit of diversity of location, I thought was great. Katie does a great job. We have one of our program locations is right here in the Livonia area. Gosh, we have some new Detroit locations this year. So I think that the students enjoyed being able to come to our Dearborn office. If you have multiple other locations for them to experience, and even if not, we're an organization with 800 individuals now, and so providing them with virtual opportunities to meet people outside of that location is kind of the next best thing as well. And finally, that final presentation, I know schedules fill up quickly. I would, after today's meeting, if there's the opportunity to go and book that meeting for as many staff members as you can who could attend that, I would recommend that. We've been blessed to have great students every year and great insight that has come out of that. Not only is it a great benefit for the people, I think for the students to see that excitement of many people attending that final presentation, but I think a great benefit for our staff to help them re-recognize every year how invested we are in positive organizational scholarship, and that we want them to take that time to hear fresh insight and things that we've learned. So with that, I will be quiet. And if you have any other questions, and sincerely for the other organizations who are just joining on to this, if there's anything I can do or our organization can do to help make that experience better, please just reach out, email me, and we'll help you any way we can.
Terrific.
Thank you so much, Casey.
I'm sorry. Oh, Monica,
Oh, I was just saying thank you to Casey, and then I was going to pass it to you, Betsy.
Okay. Well, I was going to say thank you to Casey as well. And I do think much of what he said are the very things that we want you guys to most know. You know, he called the specifically called out the meet and greet, which is the May 14th lunch that we host in the classroom. It's always a terrific time. We ask for an hour. I think our start time this year, if everything goes as planned with the Positive Business Conference, is 12:45. We'd expect to have you out of the classroom by 2 o'clock. Although last year, if that was any indication, our organizational partners were staying until 3:15, trying to get them on their way so the students could go to their next thing.
There was a lot of selfies taken last year. I had to break
The other thing he mentioned, I think is an important insight as well. It is true that you get a team of students coming to your location who have been trained in what to look for and how to ask for information so that they begin to reveal key components of your organization. But it's a group of students that are heavily supported back in the classroom. And so their time with you on campus only represents part of their day, or time with you in their organization only represents part of their day. They come back to us in the evening where we help them synthesize what they've learned, think about ways that they want to engage the next day. And so they're being resourced every day back in the classroom. And so they do have early days for them. An 8 o'clock start is sometimes quite unfamiliar, or a 9 o'clock start, depending on where they're going. And very often they're in the classroom, as Casey says, until 10 or 11. They'll be coming back new this year, which Monica mentioned, for the week after their on-site time, where they'll take a deeper dive into what they learned on-site and help create a presentation which will be particularly valuable to your organization. So the idea of sending out that calendar invite for the morning of June 11th, typically the student presentations last about an hour. And we would love for one of the members of the teaching team to be able to join the presentation as well, so that we're able to see what the students are sharing with all of you and be part of the celebrating all that they've learned and are able to reflect back to you when they come to your organization on June 11th. So that's the key things that I think we want you to know. We're going to be sending out to you later today both organizational partner guide with more detailed information, as well as the contact information for Monica and for me and for Stacy. But we know there's other wisdom in the room, and we want to make sure to give you the opportunity to additionally share insights that you have about the program and questions that you might have that we could answer this morning before it's time for us to leave.
Yes. So while you're thinking of the questions you'd like to ask, I'll just circle back to what's connected to my brief hope for the meeting, which is that link that's showing on the bottom of this slide. It's the University Public Affairs website for coronavirus response at the university. And we will be keeping you up to date with any university happenings and changes that are mandated from the university side for us as the teaching staff. But you may also have concerns or logistical arrangements that need to be made in response to the situation as it changes over the next few months. So we recognize again that this is very fluid right now, and we will have to be agile and adaptable and resilient in the face of coronavirus, whatever comes our way. So we wanted to be sure to point out this link if you want to check the university guidance or go to that link to get updates. But as I said, also Betsy, Stacy, and I will be in touch as things come into view if there are arrangements that need to be made. So I wanted to point out that link at the bottom of the screen. And that gave you time to think of what questions you may want to ask us, or other hosts if you want to share best practices. For instance, if your organization operates on a significantly different schedule than this kind of a business day, the students are all in for doing whatever it is that your organization does. So Melinda and Lee think that an 8 a.m. start sounds ridiculously late. For them, you know, their students are on the road at 6:30 to get to their door by 7 or 7:30 in the morning, whenever they're told to show up to go through security and begin their day at the vocational village. So the schedule looks, every organization's schedule will look unique. And as I said, how you curate this schedule is a part of how you give the students the view into your organization, and you help point them toward things that you're curious about so that they can reflect back to you in interesting ways that help you learn more.
If you do have a question, make sure to unmute yourself to ask it, or you could chat the question in if you want to type.
You can name. Hi, this is Natalie. I have a couple of questions. My first question is around technology. Will the students be bringing their own laptops to use, or is that something that the organization should provide?
The students will bring laptops, they'll bring note paper, they'll bring all the resources they need in order to gather the information. So you do not need to provide that. If you do have special requirements of the students, for example, the dress code, or if there are any particular security requirements expected of them, letting us know in advance when you turn in the schedule helps us. So if there's any particular vaccinations that are required or anything like that, we need to know well in advance so that we can make sure the team is ready to go for the org partner.
And then
Natalie, let me just add one. Sorry about that. I'll just add one thing. The only thing that is sometimes helpful for a team, if your office environment allows for it, is for them to have a meeting space or a gathering space where they can debrief with each other if they have moments where they're not on duty doing something else. So a little conference room, a break room, a cubicle, you know, some place where they have a home base. This can be very useful to them.
Good idea. Thank you.
And
then my next question is around the presentation that they'll do on the 11th. Is it just best to invite anyone that the students interacted with that week, or is there kind of typical guidelines to follow for that?
Well, we've had quite a range. We've had where inviting the people who interacted with the students during the week, so the 10 or 15 people that interacted with the students, to a conference room of 60 people, and having the students present in front of a group of 60 or 65 people that day. And that's the range the students can expect. During the course of the week, letting them know who you anticipate having in the room and how much time they'll have with them is a good heads up, but we get a lot of variety based on the availability of the people in the organization and who you want to have in the room. But our students are prepared to talk to as many people as you think would benefit from their message.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, if I can add, Betsy, just for new organizations that haven't hosted students before, these students in some ways seem quite young, and for many of them it's their first experience of a professional setting. So in some ways, you might think, how can I kind of put my leadership in the same room with these students? But what we have observed over 6 years of doing this is that the students go from thinking, oh my gosh, how will I ever stand up in front of a room for an hour, to, oh my gosh, I can't believe we only have an hour. We have learned so much. We have so much to share. And they have led presentations for the top leadership team of DTE, and the top leadership teams of Kelly Services, and we've gotten behind the scenes notes from the CEO that says this student team did better than most consultants we've brought in. So the students really take that presentation very seriously. They give it their all. They step up their game. And so if you have, I would encourage you to invite as many people as makes sense, and to not have too much concern about there being a lack of quality or it not being a good use of people's time. As Betsy said, we work with the students every night after they leave your organization to help them synthesize their data. And in fact, it's the students' demand for more time to make sense of their data and more time and energy to put into reflecting back to their partners that has engendered us to add this additional week for them to work through their data and to present back to you a week later, because the students care so deeply about doing a great job for you.
Any other questions?
If you do have questions, make sure to unmute.
I will. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. I'm just finishing this call.
Okay.
Sorry, I was interrupted. I just wanted to ask the veteran partners, if you have had more success, or if you've done it either way, where you have them ingrained more in one department, if it's big enough, or if you have them across all departments, kind of cross-company research.
So we have done. So the question was whether or not they should zero in on a smaller department or go across the entire organization. We've done it both ways. We've actually had some organizational partners have them evaluate 2 departments, where they'll go in and look at maybe a high-performing department and one that they feel could be more high-performing, and have them compare the 2 departments. Bye, you guys. We've had others go through and get exposed to all parts of the organization. But we found that what works best is to scope it in some way, since the students will only be with you for a week. Although it's typically they gain a lot of information during that time. But it seems that the best opportunity for the students to really reflect back meaningful information to you is to create an experience that might not be, I don't know how big your organization is, but might not be scattered across little bits of information across the whole organization, but being able to take a deeper dive with the team or staff of one or two departments. Do you have anything?
You might think, Kristen, about something that you are curious about, but in the organization, it could be something that's working really well and you don't exactly understand why, which is a great POS question. Or it could be an area where you see a lot more opportunity for thriving and you're really curious about how to unlock that potential. If you curate a schedule that helps the students gain visibility into all the pieces around that part of your organization, that they will then do the work of helping reflect back to you what they can see about it.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I was thinking about, having them kind of hone in on two departments that are kind of stack on top of each other, you know, from a low level to a higher level, the PA team and the PM team. And they kind of interact with everyone within the company. So how the fact that they interact with everyone in the company, how those two departments, really if those departments are thriving, they can impact the rest of the org. So, okay, cool. Thank you.
Great. Good. The other thing that Casey mentioned, but I'll just echo again in his wisdom, is that you may want to, as you meet the students at the kickoff luncheon, and then as they come in the first couple of days, you may leave a few places in the schedule where you can craft impromptu meetings, or you can adjust what the students are doing in various times during their schedule as they learn during the week, because they may have ideas as they're going about meeting people, and they may come back to you and say, you know, it would be great if we could talk to this other group, or is there any way that we could possibly interview a client, because we've heard a lot from the staff, now we want to hear the client's perspective, or you know, whatever is relevant to what they're doing. They may have some requests for you, so you can build that kind of flexibility into their schedule as well.
The other thing we didn't call out about the schedule is that some organizations have had the students lead lunch and learns or other activities where they share with a broader group than they might have had the opportunity to engage with a particular practice or area of research that's related to POS. So if that's something that you're interested in exploring with the students, that can be designed with the student team themselves, either when they're on site or in advance if that was something that you were interested in. But I do think our time is up.
Yep. So we want to make sure that we're getting you to your next meetings as people start to drop off. And as you know, we all try to have a regular appreciation and gratitude practice, show our gratitude and appreciation for your role in making this a great experience for our students. And also, you know, we know from past experience that you will get things out of this that you did not expect.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So thank you to all of our partners. We're really excited for this year. You, as Betsy mentioned, this is sort of a transition point from me and Hitomi as the consortium kind of hosts over to your student hosts of Betsy, Monica, and Stacy. So we will definitely make sure you have their information so that you can ask more questions. And we look forward to seeing you in person on May 14th at that lunch. We'll send more information about the exact time and location. So thank you so much. Happy Tuesday. Make sure to vote.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Casey.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.